Hit it. What's up, everybody? Michael Huggins here. Got my co-host Scootie Rowie in the garage. What's up, man?
In the garage.
And we have a special guest for you today. His name is Randy. I don't know much about our guest today. I've heard his name around. I know he's done some great stuff, but I'm going to let Scott introduce our guest for today.
Yeah, you know what? I can't thank this guy enough for what he's done for our community here in Chicago. About 8 years ago, we met him, and this guy has been the heart and soul of what we call the fix and flip study groups here in Chicago, helping people out. He's a great example of what's possible with this whole community aspect. Everything that we have to offer as far as a community and resources and whatever the resources and rewards this guy's taking advantage of. He is a definite player in our community, huge here in Chicago. Please help me welcome to tell his story today, Mr. Randy Pertler.
Thank you. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that. So welcome, everyone. Glad you could join us this afternoon or maybe morning, depending on where you're at. So yeah, let me give a brief introduction and then we can open it up maybe for questions if that's appropriate at the end. So, and I usually tell my story like every Thursday, so I get kind of bored with it, but today I'll elaborate a little bit deeper on a few areas. So right out of college, I went into teaching and coaching. I thought that was going to be my passion and my career for the rest of my life. I was always involved in athletics, played basketball, football, and baseball in high school, played football at a small college. And I went on to teaching and coaching primarily because I wanted to coach. And I was blessed enough to become the head basketball coach at a high school in Michigan at the age of 25. So I was well on my career there. I was defensive coordinator for the football team, varsity football team, as well as a varsity girls softball coach. So I was very entrenched. But while I was coaching, it was at a Catholic school, so they didn't pay a whole lot. So I did have an interest in supplementing my income. So I was watching one of the info commercials, and it was Carlton Sheets, no money down. If you remember back that era, that was about the mid 80s. And he was really about the only one that was on TV at that time. And Carlton went through this program, and it was on, I don't know, it might have been on cassette tapes at that time. So I did buy it, and I did a couple deals. I actually did my first 3 deals were owner financing. You know, I didn't have credit, didn't have much money, but I did buy a couple properties, multi-unit houses that were converted to multi-unit buildings. I think I had 2 units and a 3-unit building, maybe another one. I don't recall exactly, but I didn't get hurt too bad. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of education, a lot of support. So a lot of it, I was winging it. And I did okay, kind of started to sell those off. And then my career changed. In fact, I tell people that I feel like I've had 3 careers in my life, and I've lived 3 different lives. And one of them, or the next one I transitioned into was from education to educational publishing. So that was kind of a natural transition. Went into educational publishing, became blessed enough to become the VP of sales of the division of 3 different publishing companies. But like you've heard so many horror stories in corporate America, I experienced 3 times in my career where that position was eliminated. So it wasn't performance-based, it was more a matter of the industry. So I know Scott was a victim of that as well. And one of the companies I worked for as a VP of sales, they were bought out by another company, and their VP of sales, of course, just took over that position. They didn't need 2 of them. When companies buy together, they look for that synergy, how they can eliminate and save money. And my position was one of them. I worked for another company that when they got in trouble, two of the divisions merged together. So theirs was a larger division. So my position again was eliminated. And in 2008, the company I worked for laid off 300 people all at the same time, including myself, managers, and my staff. So basically that was gone. And that was about the time I found out about Renatus. Now, I had started back up in real estate a little bit after maybe the 2nd or 3rd time my position was eliminated. I did go back to real estate a little bit, but I didn't have any formal training. I didn't even do the Carlton Sheet stuff again. That was in the past. And so I might have done maybe 10 deals, maybe at that point, 10 to 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. So somebody contacted me. I think it was off of I don't know, an ad, maybe my career resume was up there or something, but someone contacted me, had me come down to a meeting, and that meeting was at 3030 Finley. So I was just one of many people in the audience when Scott presented, and I was interested, but I was asking myself the question, do I really need this? I mean, I've already done deals before, and how much benefit is there really to me furthering my training? Well, I did attend a few of the workshops, which I would advise anybody that's out there that's considering this to try to attend one of the Saturday workshops, which I did. And it was just happened to be a fix and flip workshop at that time. The fix and flip instructor was a different instructor than what we have now, but they were equally as phenomenal. And I was very impressed with them. And I was kind of tracking what I had been doing versus what they were teaching. And most of this stuff aligned, most of it, I was just kind of checking my notes and yeah, I do that, I do that, I do that. However, I recall distinctively one of the ways that he evaluated properties, whether or not to move forward or not. And I didn't really think about evaluating properties that way with that type of strategy. So I started thinking back to the last flip that I did. And I'm like, wait a minute, had I really taken that in consideration, I wouldn't have done some of those improvements like I had done before. I would have known what the ARV would have been better than what I did before. And I might have made at least $10,000 more on the flip that I had just completed like a month ago. So I'm obviously a firm believer in education since I was a teacher at one time. I thought, you know what, even if I just learned one strategy, that was one strategy that could have saved me $10,000 on one deal. Just think how many deals I'm going to do in the future. And if you save even a couple $1,000s, if you can take your business from good to great and just improve a small percentage, it more than would pay for the entire education package. So that's how I look at it. And when I evaluate a business and, what should I start at? And I tell people sometimes that look at Renatus, I say, listen, not everyone's like me, but when I looked at it, I didn't look at it to say, what's the least amount I can risk going into this business? No, I made a decision that I thought I could be successful in this business and that I thought this education could help me in this business. So my kind of mental state was, and my decision was, okay, what's going to give me the best opportunities to succeed, right? I did have the means to start at whatever level I wanted, which I was blessed in that way. But my question, I still could have taken the approach, what's the least risky thing that I can do? I went the other way. I went like, listen, I'm all in. I'm not going to go into the business expecting to fail. Otherwise, I wouldn't even spend the least amount of money. I wouldn't even spend my time if my attitude was, well, I'm going to fail at it. So what's the least amount I, can risk and not, lose too much money. It went the other way mentally for me. It's okay. I'm all in. I believe in this. What gives me the best opportunity to succeed? And then I move forward. So I did go all in on the extreme combo and started in right away. And I did a few deals. And what really, I think over the years, exploded my business to more than I could handle really. And now I may be downscaling in a couple of the areas on the investment side, is the synergy between the marketing and the investing side. And I know some people say, oh, I use the marketing dollars to pay for, some of my investments. And that's great. And people like Scott and I'm sure Michael's had made so much money on the marketing side that was a possibility. When I say the synergy, it wasn't making necessarily money on that, but thinking about my time, thinking about the way that my business operates, I started doing property tours. And at the time, I was doing live property tours. And about every 2 weeks, I would do a property tour. One, I would do for what I'd call my own purpose, my own team. And I would not advertise it necessarily on the Renatus calendar. But the second one I did the month, I would advertise it on the Renatus calendar, and that's giving back to the community. But I was doing these property tours and I started advertising them on Meetup. Then I started to create a YouTube channel. And then it got me in front of, let's say sometimes 10 to 20 people every other Saturday to present my business model. And in going through a property tour, I would first walk them through the property. I'd greet them at the door. Hi, welcome. I'm Randy. Nice to meet you. Here's how we do the property tours. Walk through the property, self-guided. Take notes, anything that you want to ask. I don't want to have to answer the same question 10 times. So I'm asking you to take notes as you walk through, and then we'll all meet together. And I'd have my projector set up with hooked up to my computer. I'd have my projector at my property tour. And I'd say, okay, after you're done walking through, about quarter after, we're all going to meet in this area. This will give me the opportunity to explain to everyone at one time how I raise the capital, how I fund the deal, how I find the property, and how we sell them. And then I'll answer all your questions at that time. So I just plugged into that model, kept repeating it. And what had happened was, number one, I was much more efficient in my business because the same people that attend in the property tour as a possible financial partner are the same in that same property tour. I would also have people that would want to maybe join and take part of the education. So when I went through my presentation, I said, you know, here's how I fund my deals through private money lending. Here's how I fund my deals through equity partners. If you're interested in either one of those things, we can talk afterwards. But if you want to learn how to do these things yourself, here's the education that I went through, what I believe in is your best opportunity to succeed. And I would explain a little bit about the education. Now, what I think is powerful about that at a property tour, even though I may be presenting to people that actually just might want to partner with me and want to be a private money lender or an equity partner, because I'm going through and spending some time in how extensive the education is, I'm building up my credibility. Because I would have people after the property tour say, Randy, wow, I mean, I'm not interested in the education and training, but it looks like you're well educated, you're well trained. Sounds like this company and this training is phenomenal, but I work full time. I'm a VP or a president of a company. I don't have time. I'm a full-time doctor. I don't have time to go through the education, but I've got $250,000 that if you want to talk about, you know, partnering or even my retirement account, I would be open to that. So again, that would be a win, obviously, right? That you did a property tour and now you've got enough money to do another flip. And then in that same property tour, somebody else would be waiting to talk to me at the end of the property tour and say, Randy, I really want to do this. I need some money. I don't like the job that I'm in. I want to transition for that. I'd like to know more about the training that you're talking about and what you're offering. So you can see that in one property tour, I could raise capital. I can expose people. That'd be my first exposure to Renatus. And, you know, the show rate at the very first, I then would have them go to a meeting at 30/30, or now it would be online, you know, expose them to Scott. Well, we've already built a lot of credibility because they've actually already seen the property tour. And in some cases, some people are like, I don't want the introduction meeting. I want to get started. Well, I would have them go to the follow-up, because then they could go right from that property tour experience, already built the credibility, already explained a little bit about the classes. And some of them just, you know, I want to find out more, how much it is, so some people, not many, but a few, I would take right to the follow-up. So that's been basically how I really exploded my business. And I've done as many as 9 rehabs at a time, which I don't necessarily recommend to that anybody that wants to keep their sanity without building maybe a bigger team of support. Currently, I think I'm doing 4, which is a little bit more comfortable because I'm also now building a national brokerage. So this experience, and as a broker, and a lot of people, they don't become brokers, don't want to become a broker. That's fine. But I will tell you this, that if that's in your future someday, what's great about the Renatus education is that it was so much easier to pass the broker class. Now it's different stuff, but the foundation, that being a real estate investor, was really paramount and very key and very helpful in also becoming a broker and building a national brokerage. When I go and look at a house to help a client now, I have all that rehab experience. So I'm looking at things I never would have looked at before and can advise them again about the education and training. And the thing about, I'd say to you, if you're thinking about real estate investing, I'm a big believer that real estate investing is all about helping people that have problems. The more problems you can solve with real estate, involving real estate, the larger your business is going to expand to, the more money you're going to make, and so forth. So I really see it as problem solving. And with that in mind, I would say the more strategies that you know, the more problems you can solve. The more problems you can solve, the more financial reward you're going to have as a benefit of solving those problems. So just think about that. Some people say, they look, I just want to fix and flip, or I just want to do rental property. Well, the problem with that is the person that you're going to help might not be, and the house might not be a flippable house for project. It might be a buy and hold. What are you going to do? Just not help them, right? So you want to have all those skills to help as many people as you can. And I've gone in some of my subject to deals. I didn't go on to them thinking it would be a subject to, but after analyzing the situation, putting them first, what's in their best interest, subject to was in the best interest of a couple of people I've worked with, that then I put into a subject to acquisition for rental property, as a rental property. So I went quite long. I didn't know how much time you wanted to spend, but that probably summarizes most of the things I wanted to talk about.
That was great.
Okay, fantastic.
Great. Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you.
Sure.
You're coming in as a real estate investor, and there's some people online here. They could send these recordings out. So guys, you're seeing this stuff. You can maybe send this to somebody else. But so you might encounter a real estate investor, or you might know a real estate investor, but he comes in as a previous real estate investor. So the question I have is, has and you may have covered this, has the education helped you, broaden your table of money? You're like, hey, listen, I was only doing this, and now the scope of money and the scope of help I can actually give people is a lot greater based on the different strategies that you didn't. Let me give an idea. What was a strategy that you had never done, and you never even entered your brain until you actually took a class on it? Give me one strategy.
Well, short-term rental for sure. I mean, I'd had kind of heard about Airbnb and so forth, but I never really would have probably gone deep into that if that wasn't brought up as one of the new classes, and be able to look at that. Uh-oh, looks like I lost.
You lost your camera, but we're still listening.
Oh, okay. Okay, there's it back.
Click on your camera,
Right.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully that's back now.
Yep.
So yeah, short-term rental for sure. In fact, what I'm doing now, I've got a property right now that we're rehabbing, and it's on a golf course, and it has an indoor swimming pool. So it's got a in-ground indoor swimming pool, and it should be on the market probably by the end of the month. But what we're looking at doing is I may put it as a short-term rental, either the same time we're listing it.
I got an idea for you. I got an idea for you. Ready?
Yep.
I just came to mind. This is why collaboration is so good, right? You're going to call it the Scramble Suite. The Scramble Suite. If you know anything about golf, Scramble.
Yeah. It is on a country club golf course, so they don't. The public doesn't have all the access, but that's great. Yeah, definitely bring in a group of golfers, and with the pool and parties and so forth. So we're looking at that, and like I say, it may be simultaneous to flipping it, because I put another house on the market before and furnished it. Airbnb rented it, and then we actually sold it faster because now it's quote staged. So it really did even look better after we equipped it for a short-term rental. So you think about it, if you have it on the market, even in a best case scenario, let's say you have it on the market a month, it gets under contract, and it takes a month to finance and to close, that's 2 months of income. That might be another $10,000 to your bottom line in a nice area that you can short-term rent it for $5,000 a month, which normally would just be eating up your profit. Instead, it could be adding to your profit. So that's an example of something for sure that I would not have really even explored or even had the fundamental inclination to want to, hey, that's something I should look at. But with the exposure in the classes, it gets you thinking, oh, wait a minute, how can I do that? How can I maybe implement that into what I'm currently doing?
Yeah,
Cool.
Loving it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people out here who are wondering, well, hey, does it work? Will it work for me? Can I do it? So thank you so much for sharing your story and giving some inspiration to folks who need it. And then also, you had mentioned that you'd spent a Saturday with us, and that's what really opened your eyes. Well, folks, on the 21st, we have a big Saturday event coming up. We're going to have one of our instructors. His name is Tony Scotty. He's a practitioner instructor. Everything he's teaching, he's doing, which is really going to create some results for us. If you want to attend, It is by invitation only. It's not open to the public. So you'll need to get a private link sent to you. Ask the person who got you on today's meeting how you can get that link so that we can register you. It is free to attend for you as a guest. There is a cost involved to run it, obviously, but for you as a guest, it'll be free if you register with the person who brought you here today. There are also a whole channel of recordings of these videos. So if you like Randy's story and you're inspired, go onto our YouTube page. It's Elevate Renatus. Find the playlist called the Zoom Ups, right? These are our meetups on Zoom, baby. So share these. Get connected with us. Also, this week, there are some live events for you to attend. If for some reason you can't attend them live, get a recording, and then most importantly, a one-on-one strategy session. How can we use where you're at and with what we have to get you where you want to go? So with that,
I'm just going to add one more thing if I can, as the old co-host. Don't wait. Get back in touch with the person inviting you and say, hey, how do I get the information that I need now to understand what's really going on here? There are 2 ways of making money with us. I've never needed a job since I saw the meeting that Michael's talking about, some of the exposures. I joined this group within 2 days, and I was actually fortunate enough to start earning money right away. And anybody can do that. So we're pretty excited about the kind of game we're playing and what we offer. Folks can earn money while they're learning and do real estate too. So it's been great.
It's a beautiful thing. This system, you really got to check it out. So get your questions answered. There's some more videos for you to watch, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Go after it.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.